All right, guys, welcome back to the First Team Fantasy Podcast here with Derrick
Yo.
and my boy ADO, our special guest
Yo.
today.
How's
So
it going?
we're gonna preview the Thursday night game for you guys. We have the Lions taking on the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. The Lions are favored by 1.5, and honestly, this should be a pretty exciting game. Both teams score over 21 points per game and give up over 20 points per game. So you should expect a high scoring game. You want to start your players in this one. Be very careful. We just got the update today that David Montgomery, Christian Watson, and Aaron Jones are all going to be game time decisions. So if you have any of them in your starting lineup, you're going to want to check right before the game.
Yeah, and starting with the Lions, I mean, Jared Goff's played good, really good to start the season. If David Montgomery's in, you assume it hurts Jahmyr Gibbs' fantasy value a little bit, but we also saw without David Montgomery, they kind of strayed away from Jahmyr Gibbs in the receiving game. And that was something I don't think anyone really expected because no one really filled that role. They just didn't throw it to the running back. Either way, you're starting Jahmyr Gibbs if you're a Jahmyr Gibbs owner. If you're a David Montgomery owner and he's healthy, I mean, you can roll the dice on him if you want. He's had a solid 2 weeks. He seems like he's getting goal line carries, so he always has that, the touchdown factor in play. I mean, yeah, I'd say both Lions running backs are solid plays. I mean, Adrian, you want to chime in on what you think about the receivers there?
I mean, Amon-Ra, you start no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Reynolds had a huge game the week prior and then just completely vanished. I don't even know if he was on the team at all anymore or anything, but hopefully he goes back out there and does something.
I guess there was a groin injury bothering him. He played 77% of snaps still, so I'm not.
He was
decoy,
out there, I guess. Yeah, he was out there.
I'm not sure what was going on.
He was either just getting reps in to stay healthy or stay warmed up, or I don't know. He was out there as a decoy, but hopefully they get him involved more because I could use that.
Yeah. No, you can. As far as the Packers, if you got Jordan Love, you're starting him. If you have Aaron Jones and he's playing, you're starting him. If he's not, you're not starting A.J. Dillon. We've seen what A.J. Dillon can give us, and it's nothing fantasy worthy.
No.
If Christian Watson's playing, I'd be more careful with. I don't think Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed are going to get as much of the target percentage, but I don't know. We still haven't seen Christian Watson in a game with Jordan Love yet, so we don't know how that's going to go. I'm really interested to see that, so we'll see if he ends up playing. Both of the tight ends in this game, I love. Sam Laporta and Luke Musgrave. If you have either one of them, you're rolling with them. And, not much more than that. I mean, you got your guys, you're playing them. It was really weird on the Jahmyr Gibbs thing to see him get 9 targets and lead the team in targets in week 2. And then week 3, he only gets 2 targets. And he got 17 rushes.
Yep.
We thought we'd see a lot more Craig Reynolds doing the in-between the tackles running, but he didn't get anywhere near as much work as we thought. So I don't really know what they're going to do with Jahmyr Gibbs on a week-to-week basis. I'm starting him every week still just because he has that upside, and he's in an offense that's scoring 24 points per game right now. But yeah, other than that, that's really all I got for this one.
Yeah, 2 things really quick. Do you guys know what Jordan Love is? QB-wise through 3 weeks? QB4.
I was about to say top 5 probably.
QB4 without Christian Watson.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he had the rushing yards last week and a rushing touchdown. And
he's a good quarterback.
Knowing he has that rushing upside, if he does have, I mean, okay, when Aaron Jones is out, he's probably not going to end up running that much because Aaron Jones is a really good running back and A.J. Dillon is absolutely not. So,
yeah.
But just knowing that he has that it's great. It's like I'm starting Jordan Love over Justin Fields right now, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and the only other thing really quick, not a sponsorship placement, wish it was. On Sleeper, Sam Laporta discounted from 4.5 receptions to 3.5 receptions. I'm taking that in a parlay. 100% on the Thursday night game. Sam Laporta 4 catches to hit the over.
That kid's on fire. I've seen him hitting that easily.
Yeah. That's no brainer.
So something
He's got
worth
records
mentioning
right now too.
With that, we're going to move on to our little next section. Some guys that we wanted to highlight for trade targets and some guys you might want to trade away to get them. Starting off with that, I had Joe Mixon. He's kind of had some pedestrian weeks so far. He's gotten you over 10 points if you have him every week. But, a lot of people who drafted Joe Mixon, that's not really what they wanted. A lot of Bengals in general, they're not really getting what they want out of that offense. So I think a guy like Joe Mixon, you can go out and get for maybe a guy like Jerome Ford. Might have to throw in another like mid-tier receiver like a Gabe Davis or something, but it's totally worth it in my opinion if you need to upgrade at running back, just because we still don't know that Jerome Ford is going to be the bell cow in that backfield. Kareem Hunt is going to get mixed in, and they gave Pierre Strong a couple carries, but we know for sure that Joe Mixon is the guy in that backfield, and as the Bengals start scoring more points, Joe Mixon is going to start getting more opportunities to score touchdowns.
Yeah. So. No, absolutely. And I mean, staying with the Bengals, my first trade target would be T. Higgins. Through 3 weeks, he had absolutely terrible week, 0 points, absolutely insane week, and then absolutely terrible again. Joe Burrow, they said, did not re-aggravate any injury, did not get any worse, so you're hoping with another week, maybe he's finally fully healthy. The Bengals' offense is so high-powered, you can't imagine that they just continue to struggle like they have. And through 3 weeks, T. Higgins has 28 targets in only 10 receptions. So his success rate has been abysmal. Insane. Yeah, it's been absolutely terrible.
But the opportunity has been there.
The opportunity has been there. I mean, 28 targets, he's averaging 9 targets a game. His first 3 years in the league in full PPR formats, he finished as wide receiver 28, 24, and then 18. So he's climbed every single year. And he's a guy that you can, some fantasy owners might be hitting the absolute panic button. If you have a T. Higgins and a Joe Burrow stack like me, you're probably sitting 0-3, and some of them are ready to just abort mission completely. If you can sell T. Higgins, some people might accept, and this is crazy to say, but some people might accept like a Courtland Sutton trade, who's actually shown every week he's gotten double digits, he's getting volume, but he is on the Broncos. And if you have to package like a Courtland Sutton and a lower end receiver, or a Michael Thomas and a lower end receiver, Michael Thomas, another guy that's going to get you in that 9 to 12 range, but I just don't think he has that ability to get you 20 plus with Chris Olave there. And T. Higgins has that capability of giving you 20 plus weeks. He's already given us one this year. So he's definitely a guy I'd look to trade for. I'm not saying sell the house for him, but if you can get T. Higgins on a good deal, that's definitely something I would go for.
No, yeah, and upside is what we want. And it's not like he just has random spike weeks where he's getting, like the Marvin Mims type 2 catches for like 100 whatever yards and a touchdown. He's constantly getting like at least 8 targets a week. Mm-hmm. And it's like whether he gives you a good fantasy week on that or not, he's still getting the opportunity. And that's what we want.
Yeah.
So, and the Bengals are only going to get better, as much as I hate to say that being a Ravens fan.
Yeah, he's a great talent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Adrian, you have anyone on the trade block on your eye?
Well, I would definitely go and try to get Calvin Ridley, because these past 2 weeks have been very quiet for him, especially with this offense. You expect them to be scoring a lot more, doing a lot more. But, we saw in week 1 what he's capable of. He had 101 yards off 8 catches and a touchdown, and everyone was happy off that. But I feel like some people are probably panicking and seeing this offense slow down, not looking as good as they should. And I think you can get him for a low. And I see him going pretty far this year, being a good receiver.
Yeah,
top pick you would want.
And the Jags are kind of a similar situation to the Bengals, at least offensively. You look at them, and people coming into this year expected Trevor Lawrence to take this jump from, he's the number 1 pick. He's been good, but they were like, this is the year he's going to be great. He has all the weapons around him.
Yeah,
he's got ETN.
Well, yeah, because it's like everybody saw last year. It's like Jalen Hurts got A.J. Brown, and he took that jump, and he was like the number 1 quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence, they give him Calvin Ridley. Justin Fields, they give him DJ Moore. So everybody's like, oh my God, they're going to be these world beater quarterbacks, especially Fields. And it just hasn't happened. But people got to realize it's only been 3 weeks. Like, you didn't draft these guys. I mean, if you're 0-3, you're in a hole and you need like an immediate upgrade.
Or if you're plagued by injuries or something.
Yeah,
somewhere.
you know, like that. Everybody's situation is different, so you can't just take everything at face value. So you got to consider the needs of your team. But these are guys who are going to get better, in my opinion, throughout the season. And Calvin Ridley and Trevor Lawrence are probably going to start performing a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
And then my next guy is CeeDee Lamb, who honestly is one of the best pure talent wide receivers in the league. The Cowboys didn't really need to pass much through the first 2 games. Their defense did everything. And they got smacked in the face by the Cardinals. They did not have a good game all around. So and that's not one that I'm really looking back too much on in regards to the performance of CeeDee Lamb. He is one guy that can get you 30-point, 40-point weeks. He's capable of that. And if you can go out and get him for, like, you know, guys like, if you could package like Chris Godwin, George Pickens, guys like that, like guys who had a big week last week, like George Pickens against the Raiders, but they're not on anywhere near as good of an offense as the Cowboys, you got to go ahead and you need to make that upgrade. CeeDee Lamb is like one of the wide receiver. He's going to be a top 12 wide receiver at the end, probably top 5. And he's just had a couple 10-point weeks so far, and people didn't draft him for that. So they might be hitting that panic button a little bit.
Yeah. In CeeDee's, similar to T. Higgins, his rookie year finished, I mean, better than T. Higgins, obviously. His rookie year finished wide receiver 22, then wide receiver 19, and then he took the giant jump last year. He finished wide receiver 5. So you're looking at him through 3 weeks. He's wide receiver 18 right now. He's got 28 targets. A big thing, you know, he doesn't have a touchdown so far, and like Schiff had mentioned, that can be because, you know, the Cowboys through 2 weeks really didn't need a touchdown from him. They kind of steamrolled their first 2 opponents. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is definitely a guy. If you can grab him, yeah, like for a Godwin and package Godwin with someone else, to someone that may be desperate, you absolutely go do it, because he offers something that very few, any position, wide receiver, running back, tight end, he's one of the few that offers you that 30, 40-point upside.
Like, being 100% honest, I would go out off of the performances that Mike Evans has given you so far. I would go out and trade Mike Evans for CeeDee Lamb if you could do that.
That's a really good one. Yeah, definitely. People are riding a high on Mike Evans right now. And
yeah, and it's just, we saw the lows of, and he's going to get the targets. Granted, he's going to get the targets, but they're Baker Mayfield targets. And it's that offense that if they go against a good defense, they can get shut down. I don't think the Cowboys are going to get shut down the way the Buccaneers can.
And we've seen it last year, even with Tom Brady, that Mike Evans would have some very quiet games. Like, having him as a starter in your lineup, you were definitely not happy those weeks. And they happened often. They happened often.
Yeah.
And it's like Mike Evans is, like I said, he's given you 1,000 yards every season he's played. But you just got to remember, we've seen the highs. The lows we haven't seen yet. We've seen the lows for CeeDee Lamb, and that's a 10-point game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Next on my list, and this one is funny to say, but I do have Breece Hall. Through his first 3 weeks, he has been terrible. The Jets, you know, without Aaron Rodgers, just have looked terrible. Actually, Breece Hall had they've crumbled. He had a very good first week. I mean, 10 carries, 127 yards. He had 15 points his first week. Since then, he's got 4.6 combined in the past 2 weeks. But he did play the Bills, then he played the Cowboys, then he played the Patriots. And with a quarterback like Zach Wilson, they're not moving the ball at all. They're going down early, and then they're not running. So you're not seeing Breece get the volume. He's also coming back from that injury, you know, splitting the backfield with Dalvin, but Dalvin has not looked good at all. I think when the weeks to come, you're going to see Breece start separating himself. And I mean, and it's inflated because he had that one really good game, but he is averaging 5.92 yards per carry, and he averaged 5.79 last season. He is a really efficient back. He has that ability to break out those 80-yard runs. And with the reports coming out, you know, Robert Saleh has stood behind Zach Wilson. Apparently, if he continues to do so, he can lose the locker room. I honestly see this week against, I'm pretty sure, Kansas City, they are going to bench Zach Wilson. This is going to be the end for Zach Wilson. There's no way they can keep rolling him out there with that roster and just pray that he somehow gets better. I see the Jets making a move. You think they keep him out there?
What more is Trevor Siemian going to give you?
Yeah, that's true.
That's
the players are just so vocal about this.
Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle. That's the only thing. It's like, not only is their starter dog shit, their backups are dog shit. So it's like, I just don't have any positive outlook for this Jets offense right now. I get the talent is there. I just looked right now because I saw I have him on a few teams. And he popped up as questionable. So I went and looked, and he's limited
with a knee
because of his knee.
Yeah,
and I know it, but it's just looming. It's just
still not 100%.
Yeah, no. He's not 100%, but he's playing every week. He got how many carries last week? 12. I mean, he only got 4 carries in week 2 against Dallas, but he got 10 plus carries the other 2 weeks. It's just a risk that at this point, it's also like we say, when it comes to these trades, it depends on what your team looks like. Because if you can take a risk on the talent of Breece Hall, and I don't,
because that's what you're betting on is his talent, like alone. There's not much else to hope for.
Yeah, you're betting on him low.
Maybe if you could trade you got to get him low, like Damien.
No, exactly.
Exactly. It's really hard for
the
me
name
because
alone
there's offenses that I think are going to be better than the Jets.
But we saw Breece last year, Zach Wilson, Mike White, whoever it was, he was getting it done.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, try to trade an everyday starter for him and throw him right into the lineup. But Breece Hall
was also a healthy Breece Hall.
Yeah.
That was also a fully healthy Breece Hall. We got to remember that too. And when he gets healthy, it's just playing the health game on a bad team scares me. If it's on, what I mean? If it's on a team where they're scoring, like if he were on the Lions, for example, I would be all in on Breece Hall because they're scoring 24 points per game. They're not constantly getting 3 and outs. And it's like, it's not even his fault sometimes. He's getting like tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Same with Dalvin Cook. It's like they don't even have the opportunity. So I do love the talent, but just the opportunity scares me when it comes to him.
No, I'd 100% agree. He's just, at least on my list, a guy, if you can get him super low, he's a guy I'd be willing to take the risk on talent alone.
Yeah,
but
that
again,
talent is insane. He can get, like you said, one big play to change the whole thing. He's capable of doing that at any moment.
He's capable, but him and Garrett Wilson have that.
That's what's keeping Garrett Wilson in is his talent. He's catching these crazy touchdowns. In week 1, he caught that. I don't know if many people catch that ball like he did, but
yeah, and it's like same with Drake London, same with Kyle Pitts, and it's just like at a certain point, how long can you afford to bet on the talent against the actual reality of what the offense is?
Who is next on your list, Adrian?
Yeah.
I'm saying Josh Jacobs. I think he picks it up at some point during this season. I feel like he just is having a bad run right now. He didn't have any practice, no training camp, was on that holdout for a while, and I think he just needs to get back in the groove of these things. Kind of like Joe Burrow. Like, I feel like the more he's out there doing reps, the better he'll get, and it's just a matter of time, I feel like, for Josh Jacobs, because, I mean, there's no way you go from being the best rusher to just being complete poverty and then a year next. And he's young. He doesn't have any injuries he's really dealing with. I feel like it's just a matter of time with him.
Yeah.
So that's someone I would go out of my way and get, because there's people probably freaking out, like Josh Jacobs owners, like, oh, I need to do something with this guy. So try to hit one of those guys up and try to see if you can get someone for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Or get Josh Jacobs for someone. Yeah.
Did you guys see the report about where Josh Jacobs is first taking contact after getting the ball?
No.
Yeah.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
That's
a yard behind the line of scrimmage. It's sad.
That's not even okay. Yeah, that's just bad.
And
that's the thing, is it's the same thing with like Breece Hall, except Breece Hall's injured. And Josh Jacobs just didn't. This is basically his preseason right now.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Josh Jacobs that people need to realize is when you don't participate in camp, you don't play the preseason, that has a serious effect.
Yeah, on
It's
this
there
level of
for a
competition,
reason.
you have to do
like
that.
you can't just come in and like play against all these guys who have been full go for months and you haven't. And we've been saying, you're seeing that. But this guy was the lead rusher last year. Once he gets into his flow, he's gonna be good. Even with the Raiders' putrid run blocking, he's talented enough to make like that work. And we've seen it. That's the thing. We have seen
last year, right? I mean, have they changed much
a year
for their
ago?
offensive
No,
line?
we've seen
Yeah,
No, their offensive line, that's as a Raider fan, their offensive line's the exact same. You bring in a guy like Jimmy, who, on paper compared to Derek Carr, that, I mean, we relied on the run very heavily last year, but a guy like Jimmy is used to having a super strong run game, and he's not a guy that's airing it out, a complete just passing threat down the field. So you'd expect that Josh Jacobs is going to have success, and I think it is more so the rust. But when you see a stat like he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, you're kind of like, that cannot be true.
It you.
Yeah, it definitely scares you. But I don't see that holding up. I absolutely agree.
No.
Josh Jacobs, the only tough thing with him is fantasy owners that drafted him. They probably drafted him like second or third round. But if you can trade him for, like a David Montgomery and package David Montgomery with someone else, or just Jerome Ford, if some people are super high on him, I mean, you go out and do it, absolutely.
Josh Jacobs for Jerome Ford, 100%. And also, one thing we got to realize with Josh Jacobs, he has played the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2 out of 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rough preseason. It's a rough preseason.
I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive line is far better than the Raiders offensive line, and they showed that. And did the same. The Buffalo Bills just absolutely destroyed the Washington Commanders, who were able to put up 35 points in a game this year. Granted, it was against the Broncos, but still. And so it's like, he's going to get. They play the Chargers this week. So if you can get him right now, before they play the Chargers,
you go out and get him.
I mean, you go. That's a home run. But
before he has that week where he just explodes and people are like, I'm keeping him.
Exactly.
Which is what just happened with Jahmyr Chase. Jahmyr Chase is no longer. You can't get him anymore.
You can't buy him low like that. Yeah.
No. You. Oh, I'm so happy I did when I did. My final guy, I had Devontae Smith, but I'm actually going to go with Brian Robinson, because Brian Robinson is truly a guy you can buy low right now coming off of that 7-point game. But they played the Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. And the 7-point game was a result of 70 yards on 10 rushes. The dude's averaging 7 yards a carry against the Bills, and That's insane. Offense can't score. The quarterback threw 4 interceptions. There's not much more to say. I mean, he's going to get his opportunity. He's clearly the guy. When they get near the goal line, he's going to be the guy. They're not. Antonio Gibson is turning into dust. When he gets his opportunity, he's not doing anything with it, but fumbling this year.
Yeah.
So Brian Robinson is a guy even, I'd be willing even to give up personally, if I had Damien Pierce, if I had, Najee Harris, and I could go, I'd honest to God be willing to give up Breece Hall to get Brian Robinson, just because I know his offensive line is capable of giving him enough room to run to get 70 yards on 10 carries. And he's
getting all the volume. He's getting all the volume.
There is no Dalvin Cook in that backfield.
Yeah.
So,
and that's something we mentioned this past game was against the Bills. Brian Robinson only got the 7 carries. We saw a huge up spike in snap percentage from Antonio Gibson, and nothing came of it. He was out there all of that time. He just doesn't. I don't know if it is Antonio Gibson, but they're just not leaning his way at all. So it's definitely Brian Robinson's backfield, and volume kills at the running back position. If he's getting the volume, he's going to get the opportunity to get the fantasy points.
Yeah, I went out and traded earlier when I lost Nick Chubb. I traded Dalvin Cook and Terry McLaurin for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm stable at receiver. It's like we said, you can only make certain moves. Yeah, it is all situational. So don't just go out and sell your receivers that you need for a good running back and then be hurt at receiver. Don't deplete your team to make your team better in other places. It's not going to help you.
Yeah. And the last guy I had, Kyren Williams, he had kind of a rough week. what's really nice about him is he played 95% of snaps week 2 and 100% of snaps week 3. He had 10 targets week 2, 7 targets week 3. So, I mean, he's getting more targets than some of the receivers people are starting. And he's getting all the carries.
I mean, he's getting more targets than guys like Tony Pollard and Ramondre Stevenson, who we thought were going to be like the big receiving backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
and
no, I 100% agree with Kyren.
Yeah, but he's a guy, he had somewhat of a rough week. But the Rams, I mean, surprisingly, the Bengals defense looked better than we thought they would. I don't think.
I mean, they came out with a fire lit under them. They're 0-2.
Yeah, and I don't think this game showed what we can expect from Kyren for the whole season, especially just because, again, volume kills. He has no competition there.
No.
He's a guy, again, I'm going to keep throwing the name Jerome Ford out there only because we're seeing, Kareem Hunt, who knows how much he has left, but Jerome Ford this past week didn't look the greatest like he did the week before, and again, that could just be a week per week thing. But when you have a guy like Kyren,
they were playing the Tennessee Titans, who are the number 1 rush defense as well.
No, for sure. But when you have a guy like Kyren, who's just, he's not even a chance of him splitting with anyone. And this Rams offense, if Cooper Kupp can come back, even without Cooper Kupp, they're showing flashes of being capable. Kyren Williams is definitely a guy I would go out and trade for.
Yeah, the Rams seem like they're saying that this is the guy. They got rid of Cam Akers. They didn't need anyone really like significant behind him. They're pretty all in on this guy. So yeah, I'm high on him too.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Do you have anyone else, Adrian?
I got Jahmyr Gibbs on this last one because I feel like he's just another person that, he's a rookie, so he's just got to get used to the flow of the game and everything. And I feel like by the time he does, he's going to be like what everyone was saying. He was going to be like the next Alvin Kamara-esque running back. And once those targets start coming his way, those points start stacking, it's going to be good. And he's just got a slow start. I feel like people are going to be a little low on him right now, especially with David Montgomery coming back. But I just don't see it. I'm not seeing it staying like this the whole season. I feel like by the end of the season, he picks up the volume and the plays, and it's going to be good for Jahmyr Gibbs owners.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen 9 targets in his range of possibilities.
So yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and week 1, watching that Thursday night game, I mean, because we watched that game together, you could see immediately David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Immediately, David Montgomery, 2 yards, 3-yard carry. Jahmyr Gibbs comes in, breaks 3 tackles, gains 8, and you can just see the skill gap between the two. So they're not force feeding him as they shouldn't the first couple weeks. They're not stuffing 20 targets or 20 carries right down his throat unless they had to.
If you have a capable backup or other running back like David Montgomery, then there's no need to put so much wear and tear on your new guy.
And I mean, I guess it is good to know though that when David Montgomery went out, a lot of us thought that Craig Reynolds was going to get a lot of that north-south running between the tackles.
And he did not.
And Jahmyr Gibbs got 17 carries.
Yeah.
So that we know that when if David Montgomery were to go down again, then Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get all of that work. Craig Reynolds isn't going to be a thing.
Yeah, he's only getting better.
Yeah. Okay.
With that, we're going to move on to a little start-sit section. We're each going to name a couple of players and then have the other two kind of decide who they want to start or sit and give their reasons why. I'll start us off with Dameon Pierce versus Pittsburgh or Brian Robinson at Philadelphia.
Ew.
Yeah, that's rough. Oh my.
Okay, I'll bite first. I mean, I'm going Brian Robinson. I mean, it's Philadelphia's defense. Their defensive line is absolutely disgusting, especially with Jalen Carter. But I kind of have Dameon Pierce in this realm of like a Najee, except with higher upside, I'd say at this point. But Dameon Pierce hasn't really shown me anything just yet, and Brian Robinson has at least shown upside. And even though it's against Philadelphia, I mean, I'd probably roll the dice on him. The only skeptical part about that is we just saw him get written out of the game plan because they were getting cakewalked by the Bills, and there's a good chance that happens against Philadelphia. But I would still roll Brian Robinson.
It could. I mean, I don't think that Philly's defense is as airtight. I mean, Buffalo after week one, even week one, didn't. Yeah, the Jets won on a punt return touchdown, but the Bills defense looks insane right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Philly's defense is necessarily on that same level because we saw, I mean, their run defense is, but you got to remember if they're able to get down to the goal line, Brian Robinson is going to get that opportunity.
Yeah.
What about you, Adrian? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I definitely go Brian Robinson here too because I don't know. I just feel like his carries mean more. I don't know. Damian Pierce's yards per carry these past 2 games have been 2. So that is not good. And then them going against the Steelers, I'm like, I'm not really liking that. I'm not high on Damian Pierce, but Brian Robinson, I am. I like everything about Brian Robinson. Like got the talent, he's got the volume. I feel like he's a good. Between both of those, I would definitely go Brian Robinson. But they're both great defenses they're going up against, so it could be rough for both. But if someone's gonna come out, I'd say Robinson.
Pittsburgh is worse against the run than Philadelphia right now against fantasy running backs. And also to note, last week was the first time that Dameon Pierce hit above 50% of the snap share.
Oh, wow.
And he got into the end zone. And I mean, this offense on the Texans is looking good, which also, like I said, it gives him the opportunity to score, which is why I've kind of put both of the guys up there against each other because they kind of are in similar positions.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a really good one. It's a hard decision.
This'll be a fun one. Matt Stafford in Indianapolis against the Colts.
Ooh.
Or do you kick the tires one more time on Justin Fields playing a Broncos team in Chicago that just gave up 70 to Tua?
I don't know. I think you take Matt Stafford on that one. I'm not liking Justin Fields at all and what they're doing. He doesn't seem like he can read a defense for the life of him. And I know it's the Broncos, and they did just break a they had 70 scored on him, even though that hasn't happened since the 60s. But I don't know. I thought Matt Stafford's just slinging out that ball so much more than.
He's definitely the safer play.
Anything.
He's for sure the safer play. I knew he was going to go Fields. I knew he was.
Dude, I don't blame you. That
we just saw the Broncos give up 200 yards to Devon Achane on the ground. Like, I don't know. This is the last chance. Like, this is it. This is the last, like,
I'm on Sean
after
Payton.
this, I'm benching him. Like, if you were starting him up to this, after this, like this, I have leagues with Justin Fields, and this, I'm like, all right, man, this defense just is a run funnel. Okay, they're not the Miami Dolphins, but it's like you can run against them. Brian Robinson did it. Devon and Raheem Mostert did it. Justin Fields is just fast as hell too.
Yeah,
so it's like he can get it done. Like I see, and from what I saw out of Matt, honestly, for one, the Indianapolis Colts have a good pass rush. They're able to get to Lamar, and Matt Stafford is nowhere near as mobile as Lamar. So he's not going to be able to escape at all. And that could be a problem. Kwity Paye was getting to Lamar, DeForest Buckner, Zaire Franklin. They're going to be a problem. So I don't necessarily, and it's in Indianapolis. So I just, from what I saw out of the Broncos rush defense and that opportunity compared to what I saw from the Indianapolis defense against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, I think I'm leaning more Justin Fields.
All right. I think that's a good call, honestly. Yeah. If they start utilizing him as like a running back like they did last year, then I can see him going off.
I mean, I have to be honest. If you're a head coach and you watch that game film against the Miami Dolphins, seeing them run all over, and you don't utilize that, you're incompetent.
Hey, they might be tanking for Caleb. We don't know.
I would at this point.
You trade for DJ Moore and tank. That is pathetic. Anyways,
get that man a quarterback.
Yeah.
Adrian,
Mine. I got Marquise Brown in the 49ers.
Ooh.
Or Zay Flowers in the Browns.
Ooh.
Those are mine.
Ooh, I know what Schiff's gonna say. Of course he's gonna say it. You know,
I gotta go Marquise Brown here.
He's been doing.
Not what I expected. Oh, but he's an ex-Raven. He's an ex-Raven.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
No, just because with Zay Flowers, I like the targets he's getting. But that Cleveland defense is really good. I just don't know right now the health of the Ravens. We still have Ronnie Stanley out. We still have our starting center out, Tyler Linderbaum. And last week we weren't really able to do too much on offense. So against a better defense, I just don't know. And that's the thing. What I do know is that the Niners have given up. They gave up a whole lot to Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua. They did. I mean, I don't know. I can't really use the Giants game as an example due to the fact that Saquon didn't play. So that one, it's like, who do you even have there? But, the Cardinals have shown that they can move the ball for one. They just beat the Dallas Cowboys, they're like the two top defenses are the Niners and the Cowboys. Well, they just put up 28 points in the Cowboys.
Yeah, no one saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming, but that's what they're capable of. So I just if he's the number one guy there, which he is, Zay Flowers still has Mark Andrews to compete with. And over the middle, Zach Ertz only got like 2 points last game.
Yeah.
Hollywood is the guy that Josh Dobbs likes to throw the ball to. And I think he's just
Dobbs doing better than most people would have expected.
Doing better than a lot of us expected.
Give me Zay Flowers against the Browns. You know why? Because he's getting in the end zone this week. His first NFL touchdown is coming this week. Zay Flowers, with or without Rashad Bateman,
that doesn't matter anymore.
Does not matter anymore. Odell, you know better than me. Is it trending towards Odell playing this week or no?
Does that matter either?
No, not really.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is a clear number 2 target behind Mark Andrews, and he even got more targets than Mark Andrews. Like I said, I like the play, but I just saw what the Cardinals did against the number 1 defense in the league compared to what the Ravens did against the Indianapolis Colts, who are now about to go up against the Cleveland Browns. But I do like both plays.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let me go even further and make the crazy prediction. Zay Flowers finishes the year with more targets than Mark Andrews.
Ooh.
What do you think about that one, Schiff?
Mark Andrews has already missed a game.
Zay Flowers is a rookie, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
But that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. The dude's gonna get more targets than Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, and Odell Beckham Jr. That doesn't make a difference. I don't think that's that bold of a take, honestly, just due to the fact that he gives Lamar that. Mark Andrews gives him a safety valve. Zay Flowers gives him a safety valve that can get him a touchdown on a broken play or a touchdown on a little screen or something. Like that is it fits. Yeah. So I don't think that's even that a bold take. I
got him in Dynasty, so I'm with it. I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take a touchdown this week.
Him coming out of Boston I liked him coming out of college. Because I watched all his tape when we drafted him and everything. Honestly, being a USC fan, I wanted Jordan Addison. And then I went and watched all of Zay's tape. It's like, oh, damn, this kid is fast and shifty. And this perfectly fits Lamar Jackson's play style. And
Yeah.
he can catch the damn ball for once.
And he's
Jesus,
not
thank
80 years old.
No,
He's a nice young wide receiver.
It's a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Mhm.
I would have still loved Jordan Addison, but I love the guy we got.
Oh, yeah.
And he worked out the whole offseason with Lamar Jackson in Florida. So
Yeah.
it's like they already got rapport and you know.
Yeah, they're gonna be good.
Yeah, I don't hate that call at all.
So Schiff had Hollywood. I had Zay on that one. Schiff, what's your next?
DeAndre Swift against Washington in Philadelphia, or Joe Mixon at Tennessee.
Ooh.
I think I'm taking Swift. That man's just on fire. That guy is literally getting hit at the 2 and just running up 20 yards past that, and he's like making so many yards after first contact. I don't know. That he's looking real good. And Joe Mixon, I don't know. Joe Mixon, I just feel like he doesn't get those yards per carry I would want out of him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
That's from what I've seen.
honestly, yeah, this one I'm gonna agree with Adrian. I'd take DeAndre Swift as well. I mean, we've seen him.
I agree.
We've seen
healthy.
him, and just it's his backfield now. He's just he looks so explosive out of the backfield. I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
So since you both agree, let me make it a little harder. Do you take in the same game Joe Mixon or Derrick Henry?
That's a better one.
Oh, against each. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, they're playing. Okay.
I take Joe Mixon.
Don't forget Tennessee has the #1 rush defense in the league.
I'm still taking Joe Mixon. Derrick
That's
Henry,
fair.
we are witnessing the fall
downfall.
of Derrick
very well
Henry.
could be.
And it's
We are
sad,
witnessing
but
it.
I'd still take Derrick Henry. I feel like he's still got some pop left in him, at least for these next early few games. You know, like before the wear and tear really starts hitting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I would take Derrick Henry. I feel
So
like he
we're
can
all
have a
pretty
big
high
game.
on DeAndre Swift, though. I like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's great talent.
Yeah.
Even though I'm playing against him, it's rough.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right, here's a fun one. Both against Las Vegas Raiders. Are we rolling Josh Palmer or are we rolling Quentin Johnston? Which one are we liking more? The first round
Josh
pick
Palmer.
or Josh Palmer?
I'm biased because I
In the
have
first week.
Palmer in Dynasty, but yeah.
Well, in the first week, I'm rolling Josh Palmer just because we saw him step in and kind of take over that Mike Williams role. We saw him last year be the #1 receiver for the Chargers when like both of those two guys were down. So he has rapport with Justin Herbert already. Q might take a little longer to catch on. Rest of season, I like Quentin Johnston more. But for these first couple weeks at least, I think Josh Palmer's the play.
That's 100% what I was gonna say. I think Josh Palmer in these early games, when Mike Williams out, he's gonna be the guy. But as Johnston gets more accumulated with Herbert and everybody, I see him being the guy there. At least the wide receiver 2 behind Keenan Allen, because Keenan Allen's just having a monstrous fucking season right now.
Oh yeah, Keenan's gonna be the guy.
Yeah, but yeah, I would take
Palmer
now. Palmer now. Johnston later down the season for sure.
All right.
I don't have another one, honestly. I did not.
That's all right. That's all right. I mean,
no, it's all right. I got plenty more.
Yeah, you
did. Don't worry, my man. For the next one, I got Jordan Addison at Carolina, or Garrett Wilson versus Kansas City.
Stop. Jordan Addison. It's got to be Jordan Addison. The Vikings don't run the ball well. Kirk Cousins going crazy.
Carolina is 30th in the league against
stupid.
Carolina's 30th in the league against the run right now. So they're kind of a run funnel defense.
Alexander Mattison could go against a JUCO team.
No, he had a good week last week. He had a good fantasy week last week, and he got the volume.
He's going to have a worse week when Cam Akers eats into that workload.
Is he playing officially this
week? I have
week?
no idea.
I don't know.
Okay,
he might get a couple touches. I doubt he gets meaningful time.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean.
All right. So do you agree, Adrian? Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, I don't.
Not Garrett Wilson.
I was about to say not Garrett Wilson. They're definitely Addison. I don't want anything to do with the Jets or.
It's just the upside of Addison with Kirk Cousins compared to.
Let me make this a little harder.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Two guys in the same game then. Would you rather have Jordan Addison at Carolina or Adam Thielen versus Minnesota?
Adam Thielen. 1000%.
Mm.
Especially if Mingo's out with that concussion. Mingo's out. Minnesota don't have a good pass defense. Is Bryce Young coming back, or is he out another week?
Don't know.
I think he's trending towards playing, but it's questionable.
Either way, give me Adam Thielen. He's getting crazy volume at this point. I mean,
he's set to play. He practiced in full. Bryce Young's going to be back.
Yeah, Bryce Young back. I mean, I think that one's going to be. That's a much better one, but I'd still lean Adam Thielen in that, just because the volume.
That's a tough one. I would go Thielen just based off what you said, because you said their the Panthers defense is a run funnel defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the opportunities might be a little less this week for Addison compared to normal weeks, based off of that, if they're going to be running a lot more. But
I agree.
Yeah,
could be a week they try to get some confidence in Mattison, see some success on the ground, and kind of build that a little bit. It could be.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I brought up the fact that Carolina is a run funnel is because the Los Angeles Chargers happen to be the same thing as well. And last week against the Chargers,
no.
Jordan Addison didn't have the greatest week.
I think he caught a touchdown.
Yeah, it was that long. Was that long touchdown he had?
He had Jordan Addison's finishes so far 16.1, 16.2, and then he had 11.2. He had no touchdowns last week. 11.2 on no touchdowns. He had 8 targets. That was his most targets so far. So he's starting to take over that wide receiver 2 position from KJ Osborne.
Yeah, it seems like KJ Osborne's not getting much right now. I think he only had 1 catch for a touchdown last week, and that's what made him somewhat fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
I'm being completely honest with you guys. I'm starting Jordan Addison over Adam Thielen.
Well, it's a good thing you're not picking him. I'm kidding. I don't hate that. That's just one of those where it's like you can start either of them.
Well, last week in his blow-up game, Adam Thielen got all those targets because Andy Dalton threw the ball 58 times.
Damn, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young's not going to throw the ball that many times. Bryce Young is not as poised in the pocket as Andy Dalton is. Bryce Young's not going to be able to get him as good of targets right now. He's not as good of a fantasy option for the receivers.
But Thielen still had a good week prior to that too. Granted, he had a touchdown, but like that kind of inflated it. But it's still, 9 targets, 7 receptions. It's not bad.
No, that's true, but that's what I'm saying. The volume argument can be made for Jordan Addison too. He got 8 targets last week and 6 catches.
Yeah, he's getting ramped up a little bit.
And he's only going to get better, and Adam Thielen's only going to get older. But
yeah, that's for sure.
Rest of season is a different question. But this 100%. Week too, I just like Jordan Addison due to the fact that his targets have been ramping up, and so is his on-field percentage.
And Kirk Cousins is him right now. That guy,
Cousins is looking like a great
fantasy.
Bryce Young is not.
And they're hungry for that dub, so who knows? They might just try to go for the kill and throw all over, and who knows?
You never know.
They're hunting for that win. So I feel like you can't go wrong with either one, but
all right.
I was gonna say it's good to get the opinions out there.
No, for sure. I got 2 more. So I'll go this one, and then Schiff will do 1 more each. This one's ugly. I'm just gonna tell you now. We got Najee at Houston or Breece against the Chiefs at home.
Oh,
it's disgusting.
That one's too easy. It's Najee.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are we sure it's Najee?
No, 100%.
I don't like Najee at all.
I don't like Najee.
Against Houston, he's got to do something, right? Even though with those cinder block shoes he's got, like.
What about against the Raiders? He didn't do anything.
Yeah, neither did Javonte Williams.
That was Javonte week 1 though. I think Javonte had a better week. Okay, Najee played 50% of snaps, 19 carries, 65 yards last week, 1 target, no catches.
That'll do it.
You think that'll outscore Breece?
No, I said that'll do it. The 1 target with no catches won't you're not going to get any fantasy value off of it.
I was like, dang.
No, that's not what I meant. But no, the Houston Texans are a run funnel defense to the core.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw the only thing that the Jaguars were able to do against them was run the ball. Granted, Najee's not looking that fast, but he is the first option in the backfield. If they happen to get to the goal line, which they have a lot more opportunity to do against the Houston Texans than the New York Jets do against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs defense has just mollywopped their past two opponents. So
that's a way to say it. It's true, though.
That is a way to say
It's
it.
true.
What are they going to do to the Jets?
It's true.
You think Chris Jones is going to give Breece Hall any opportunity to go anywhere? No. So honestly,
in prime time too, like
Zach Wilson in prime time might be different.
Nah, that one's too easy too. You'd start HN there. That's not even a question. But yeah, no, I go Najee over Breece and this week without a question.
Adrian, you think the same?
Yeah, I think I'm taking that. I'm not liking Breece Hall against the Chiefs at all. I feel like they just gonna completely shut down
Come
that
on,
team.
stand for something. Say he's gonna run for 80. He's gonna break out for 80, dude.
I can't. As a Patriots fan, I can't. I don't want that to happen. I want them to lose as much.
We haven't seen the Jets like running backs when they're down. They haven't been able to work them into the pass game effectively.
Yeah.
So they're going to get down fast against the Chiefs. I don't care how good that defense is. It doesn't matter. They're going to get down fast. And they're going to have to throw the ball. And if the running backs are ineffective in the pass game, there's just not going to be much opportunity. We saw them get 4 carries against the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it this week at all.
All right. What's your last one you got?
I have 2 more nasty ones that I really want to touch on.
Okay.
One of them isn't so nasty. The other one's real nasty. One of them's Kyren Williams at Indianapolis or Alex Mattison at Carolina.
Give me Kyren. Give me Kyren against Indy. I know we just talked about how bad the Panthers' run defense is. Even coming into the season, I'm not the biggest Mattison guy. He does not run the ball super efficiently. His yards per carry have been gross over his career.
True. Kyron's yards per carry this year haven't been good either.
No, but he's getting crazy volume out of the backfield. His PPR volume is insane. I mean,
that's true.
Give me Kyren. And like we said, touchdowns aren't like a sticky stat, but in red zone.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had 4 touchdowns the first 2 weeks when he was the RB2. He got 8 points last week when he didn't get the touchdown.
Yeah. No, it's true. But you know what? Between the two, I'd roll Kyren.
Give me Mattison. He's fighting for his job, with Cam Akers there. Maybe he wants to not be a backup again like he once was forever. So, I feel like he could have a boom week. Yeah, like you said, like if their defense is that it's similar to the Texans where they're just going to be ran up on like constantly. Yeah, give me Mattison. I feel like this is his prove it week for his job, or at least his security of his job.
Oh, it is. I mean, it is for his job, absolutely.
Even though it's just Cam Akers, like it's not the biggest threat of all, but I mean, I don't know, they're around the same.
He had his best week of the season so far last week. Finished with 80% of the snaps, which was his most so far. Finished as the RB10, had 20 attempts, which was by far the largest. And okay, so we see Chargers run funnel defense. They give him the ball 20 times. Carolina run funnel defense. We can maybe expect the same thing. I don't know how they're going to work Cam Akers in, but I'd imagine since Alex Mattison has been with this team for so long, and he had a good week last week, he, like I said, was the RB10 without a touchdown in the pass game. But you want to talk about targets? He had 7 targets.
How many he have the 2 weeks before that?
4 and 6.
Okay.
He's got 17 targets on the year.
That's not bad.
Take that smile off your face.
I told you.
Take that
I
smile
told you, I'm
off.
gonna make this nasty. I'm not gonna make this easy. These guys aren't far apart statistically.
No,
it's
I
only
agree.
the touchdowns that separate them. That's why it's difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like Mattison this week just a little bit more, but both of them are great starts.
Yeah, I don't see Akers being significant yet.
Moving on to the nastiest of the nasty. You're gonna hate me for it. Are you starting Kyle Pitts at Jacksonville or Pat Freiermuth at Houston?
I'm leaving is what I'm doing.
You gotta choose. You gotta choose. You gotta
Is there
choose.
anyone else?
Kyle Pitts
You
at
gotta
who?
choose. Jacksonville.
Kyle Pitts at Jacksonville.
Or
Freiermuth.
Freiermuth at Houston.
Oh
The
my
Muth.
gosh, that is.
You gotta choose. All right, Adio goes Muth.
I'm going Kyle Pitts, man. Give me Kyle Pitts.
All right.
Martian's pointing the death beam. Give me Kyle Pitts, dude. Come on.
I see Muth getting, maybe in the end zone like he does. He sneaks his way in there.
He does. He's an awkward red zone
even
target
if it's just
for
a
sure.
one catch, one fucking for the week.
That
Hopefully
might
it's a
outdo
TD.
Pitts, yeah.
Yeah, they
You're
can
not
still
wrong.
outdo Pitts because, man, they don't like him there. They don't
Okay.
like using him.
Muth is the tight end 13 on the season right now. Pitts tight end 19.
Gosh, that's just-
God, the tight end positions.
Muth also has 2 touchdowns. Pitts
Ugly.
doesn't have 1.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, Muth only has 9 targets on the season.
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
From based off looking at his stats lately, that's not that surprising.
All right. I got one. Last one. It's not as ugly as that, but it's ugly too. Let me tell you. We got David Njoku versus Baltimore, or Higbee, Tyler Higbee, against the Colts in Indy. These tight end ones just get ugly because the tight ends have been so bad.
It's been so rough at that position. I like Njoku. I'll take Njoku just based off I think he's better than Tyler Higbee in general.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I just like Njoku more. Other than that, I don't like either one of them. But
That's
had to
the
choose
tight end
someone.
position this year. It's been so
I haven't had to think about it
bad.
too much with Mark Andrews on my lineup. So, but yeah, no, I'm happy I don't have to deal with all that too much.
Yeah. Chef. I told
What
you.
are the stats like?
You said Higbee?
Yeah. No, just because looking at it the last 3 weeks, Njoku's snap percentages have been 73, 85, and 73. And Higbee's been above 90% every single week. So it's like if I have to make the choice, I want to go with the tight end that's going to be on the field more because I mean, in the last 3 weeks, you got 3, 4, and 4 targets out of Njoku. He's got 11 total targets. You're not getting anything too exciting either out of Higbee. He's got 15. So at that point, they're both so close that the deciding factor to me is just who's on the field more, and that happens to be Higbee.
Yeah.
That's smart.
No, fair point. And I like, when we're doing these, it's all about, you agree on them or you disagree, you have different point of views. I mean, it's one of those where we just got to see,
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen each week. These weeks have been very unpredictable lately.
Jeez, to say the least.
Yeah.
But the last thing I wanted to remind everybody playing fantasy football, if you have a player who will be playing on Thursday night, do not put them in your flex. The flex is for flexibility. You want to be able to make a pivot, make a last-second decision if you have to, anything that may happen in between Thursday and Sunday. You then take away that possibility for yourself if you take away the flex position. So just put them in your wide receiver slot, in your running back slot. If you have a player on Thursday night, do not flex them. Last thing I wanted to add, if you guys had anything else.
Yeah, I just, wanted to thank Adrian for joining us on this episode. It's always, nice having new faces in here. And if anyone,
thanks for having me.
yeah, of course. And if
You have a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, getting to do some more games on this one. And
shift ugly matchups, trying to answer those.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to answer those. It's a lot of fun, though.
Oh, yeah. So if you had, any comments on our Thursday night overview, if you have any trades that you're thinking about making or trades you're being offered, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll give our thoughts on them. And then lastly, with our stardom sit-em, if you want to drop a comment on who you would start or who you would sit, absolutely go ahead and do it. Our next episode will be coming out Friday, following the Thursday night game and kind of giving our previews into those Sunday games. And that's all I had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See you guys next time. Take more reps with the first team.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
See you guys
sir.
next time.